No warning, no sound. A convoy of unmarked FBI vehicles quietly crept into the sleepy street where Janice Comis's modest brick house stood, a home that had long disappeared from headlines, but never escaped the watchful eyes of federal agents. No sirens, no flashing lights, only the cold presence of men, in black armed with an emergency search warrant, and a chilling certainty, something unimaginable, lay buried beneath the wooden floorboards. This operation had been months in the making. Anonymous tips, forensic discrepancies, missing persons reports spanning over 2 decades, but no one, not even the most seasoned agents, could have anticipated what they would uncover that morning. After 2 hours of combing through the basement, using thermal imaging ground-penetrating radar and specialized equipment, a foul stench began to rise, the unmistakable blend of death and decay. Minutes later, the forensics team unearthed a horrifying sight. Partially decomposed bodies wrapped in plastic stacked silently at top. Another three corpses, one of them a minor, all buried beneath the very house once occupied by Sean Diddy Combs' own mother. Next to the bodies were old video cameras, magnetic tapes and memory cards, each marked with cryptic symbols and faded handwritten labels. Rumors erupted, like wildfire, had the FBI finally uncovered the final link in a decades-long chain of abuse, manipulation, and silence. In the music industry, and even more disturbing, did Diddy's mother know? Part 1, Bloodstained. Dawn on the bleak morning of June 21st, as dawn broke over Mount Vernon, New York, an unmarked convoy quietly rolled through the hushed streets. No sirens, no flashing lights, just the sound of tires crunching against the cold asphalt. Their destination, the aging yet stately home once owned by Janice Comis's mother of controversial hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs. The FBI had arrived, armed with an emergency search warrant and an ominous feeling that what they were about to uncover would shake America to its core. The heavy wooden door swung open beneath the firm grip of federal agents. No need to knock, they knew exactly where to go. The basement. An anonymous but highly reliable informant had pinpointed a secret hidden beneath the home's old wooden floorboards. Equipped with 3D scanners and ground-penetrating radar, the agents began their work with laser focus. 2 hours later, the air in the basement turned thick, not just with the scent of damp earth, but with something far more sinister. The stench of death as the wooden boards were pried up. Forensic lights revealed a nightmare, bodies wrapped tightly in plastic, partially decomposed, stacked like forgotten cargo in a storage unit. At least 3 corpses were identified, one of them disturbingly small, a minor. No one spoke. The shallow, shocked breaths of the agents were the only sounds cutting through the deathly silence in a dark corner of the basement, among shattered concrete and streaks of dried, unidentified blood. Another item stunned the agents: scorched leather notebook, its edges blackened as if someone had tried and failed to burn it. Inside were scribbled notes and bizarre circular symbols reminiscent of secret cult iconography, seen in criminal profiling texts. A ritual crime expert from Quantico, after a preliminary review, warned if these bodies are connected to those rumors about underground industry parties. She said, her voice cold but steady, "Then we're looking at a highly organized criminal network, one far beyond anything we've encountered before." The horror in that basement didn't just raise questions, it demanded them. Who did this, and why was it buried beneath the home of Diddy's mother? As the first leaked image emerged, blurry but unmistakably grotesque, the world recoiled. An old video of Diddy resurfaced, where he cryptically stated, "Everything I have came from sacrifices no one dares speak of." It was replayed and dissected frame by frame. The public divided. Some cried out for justice, others suspected a political takedown of a music icon. Meanwhile, the FBI pressed on. They discovered the basement had been reinforced and remodeled in 2014. The same year, a young dancer named Kiara B. disappeared in New York. Her case had been closed due to a lack of evidence. But now a small body, with matching height and bone structure, forced the Bureau to reopen the investigation. This time with a murder theory in play, as DNA samples were requested from Kiara's family. Tension inside the New York FBI field office reached a fever pitch. Part 2. The Network Beneath the Spotlight. The initial raid on the home of Janice Kama's mother of Shah Diddy Kama's was originally intended to shed light on suspicious financial dealings tied to his music empire. But what the FBI found beneath the basement sent the case spiraling in a much darker direction. What began as a financial fraud investigation quickly turned into a hunt for an organized criminal network, one centered around infamous private parties in the entertainment industry, long rumored to be mazes of secrecy and power. The bodies discovered were not just evidence of a crime, were the thread that began to unravel, an underground web where celebrities, power players, and criminals intertwined in a dangerous dance. At the heart of the investigation now was the disappearance of Kiara B., a promising young dancer who had performed at several of Diddy's events. She vanished, leaving her family in agony, and a case hastily closed due to lack of evidence. But the small body found in the basement, with matching height and bone structure, reignited suspicions. The FBI immediately requested DNA samples from Kiara's family, and while waiting for the results, they dug deeper into her past. Old records revealed Kiara had attended a private party in the Hamptons, hired as a background dancer for an event hosted by Diddy's team. A witness, a former backstage assistant, testified that Kiara left the party in a panicked state, but no one reported the incident. She said something wrong, the witness recalled, but we were told to stay quiet. The FBI began connecting the dots. These private gatherings, often held in luxury mansions or secluded penthouses, weren't just elite entertainment venues. Internal reports suggested they might be the hub of a complex system where vulnerable individuals, dancers, freelance models, or young assistants were lured into dangerous situations. A former real estate contractor who had worked on renovating Janice Kama's basement in 2014 revealed that the job included unusual security enhancements, such as magnetic locks and infrared cameras, suggested the basement wasn't just a hiding place, it may have been a fully operational secret center. Meanwhile, at FBI headquarters in New York, an emergency meeting was convened with experts from the Department of Justice and the Federal Financial Crimes Task Force. A partially burned ledger covered from the basement detailed anonymous payments for event services at various locations from Miami to the Bahamas. These funds transferred via cryptocurrency and withdrawn at overseas ATMs led to art-focused charities with ties to Diddy. A criminal analyst concluded this isn't just a person crime. We're looking at a structure built to conceal wrongdoing, protected by money and fame. As news spread, the public began asking, how many people knew about this, and why didn't anyone speak up? When reports of the bodies found under Janice Kama's basement went public, it was as if America had been shaken awake from the glittering dream of the entertainment world. Blurry but haunting images from the scene, though, unofficial leaks sparked a firestorm across social media. Hashtags like #Diddy cover-up and justice for the forgotten quickly shot to the top of trending lists, becoming rally cries from millions demanding the truth. On online forums, from X to Reddit, users shared old stories, long dismissed rumors, and clips from past interviews with Diddy, his cryptic statements now dissected with suspicion. One X-user wrote, "We've been blind for too long. Who's protecting him?" Question wasn't just aimed at Diddy, it was directed at the entire system of power that shielded him. What's strange is that, while social media erupted, major media outlets like CNN, ABC, and Fox News remained conspicuously silent. Rather than broadcasting live from the scene, they aired carefully edited clips, lacking detail and disturbingly neutral in tone. This hesitation sparked suspicions of an invisible hand controlling the flow of information. An independent journalist on X posed the question, why aren't the big networks digging deeper? Are they afraid of names even more powerful than Diddy? These suspicions only intensified when a leaked internal email from a major news outlet surfaced, showing editors were instructed to limit coverage until further guidance from upper management. The public, already disillusioned with the elite, began referring to the case as Diddygate, a symbol of corruption shielded by fame and wealth. Amidst the media storm, unexpected witnesses, broke their silence, shattering the wall of secrecy surrounding Janice Combs' home. A former housekeeper, who worked for Janice between 2015 and 2017, contacted an attorney claiming she had seen strange men entering the basement late at night, carrying what looked like video equipment. Once I heard a weird noise like someone crying, she said, but when I asked, I was told not to be nosy though. Her account remains unverified. It raised a chilling question. Did Janice truly not know what was buried beneath her own home? Meanwhile, public pressure forced the FBI to accelerate their efforts. Authorities announced they were investigating at least 2 other properties connected to the Combs family, including a penthouse in Manhattan, known for hosting notorious parties in the late 2000s. Human rights activists rallied under the hashtag #Justice for the Forgotten called for an independent commission, suspecting collusion between law enforcement and the elite. A nonprofit launched an online database named Project Echo, listing entertainment-related missing persons cases as FBI agents dug deeper into the secrets hidden beneath Janice Combs's home. They realized the case wasn't just about bodies or one individual. It was a sophisticated criminal network, intricately woven together by money, power, and silence. Financial trails began to emerge, painting a grim portrait of how Sean Diddy Combs may have operated. Investigators uncovered millions of dollars funneled through anonymous crypto wallets, withdrawn from ATMs in remote locations like the Dominican Republic, Nigeria, and Malta. These transactions, hidden behind art-based charities, weren't just a front, they were the gears driving a criminal machine. One charity, reportedly funded by Combs Enterprises, had allocated $1.22 million for youth art programs in the Bronx, but when FBI agents investigated, they found the organization had no physical office. It existed only on paper. A crucial lead took investigators to a mysterious property in the Bahamas, registered under a shell company operated by a former tour manager of Diddy. Satellite images revealed the estate wasn't just a luxury resort. It included structures resembling secret film studios, with a bizarre lion head statue placed at the center of a courtyard. The statue sent chills through the investigative team. It was identical to a back tattoo, once sported by a famous artist closely tied to Diddy, who had scrubbed their social media presence and disappeared from public view in 2021. Rumors of a so-called second island, an elite entertainment enclave where secret events were held, had circulated for years, but now with tangible evidence, the FBI was no longer treating it as mere speculation. They began cross-checking flight logs and discovered dozens of private jet landings at the site, often at odd hours, outside standard travel windows. In the midst of financial probe, an unexpected figure was pulled into the spotlight. Quincy Taylor Brown, Diddy's adopted son. Quincy, known for his intellectual persona and reputation for avoiding controversy, suddenly became the center of attention when the FBI discovered an old, allegedly destroyed BlackBerry phone in a rented New Jersey storage unit. The device contained hundreds of encrypted messages, images from secret events, and a chilling audio clip. A woman screaming for help, a male voice ordering, "Lock the door," and Quincy's panicked whisper, "This is getting out of control." Though he hasn't been charged, Quincy's appearance before a federal grand jury under tight protection sent shockwaves through the public. Is he the key to unlocking the truth, or just another pawn in Diddy's game? Bigger names were dragged into the spotlight. Oprah Winfrey, once a symbol of the Me Too movement, and Ellen DeGeneres, beloved talk show host, were both mentioned in leaked documents. A secret handwritten contract involving Diddy, Ellen, and a Netflix executive, allegedly linked to a television production scandal involving a minor, was discovered inside a biometrically sealed safe. Oprah, who had remained silent for 6 months, was suspected of ties to Diddy through shared charity events. Meanwhile, Ellen suddenly shut down her Los Angeles studio and relocated abroad, prompting a former staff member to confess she kept a contract with Diddy that no one was allowed to see. These revelations led the public to ask how many celebrities knew the truth and chose silence. More witnesses began stepping forward. shedding light on the cover-up operations. A former bodyguard of Diddy, Marcus Williams, appeared at the FBI's New Jersey office, requesting immunity in exchange for the whole truth. He described a cleanup after a young woman reportedly fell down the stairs at Diddy's private estate. There were no missing persons reports, no hospital records, only a silent ambulance. Leaving the scene, a video production assistant, named GL, handed over a hard drive containing 17 clips from private parties. Many women's faces had been deliberately blurred. These fragments were no longer isolated. They were the bricks of a wall built to hide a rotting empire. As investigators pressed further, it became clear this network wasn't just protected by money and celebrity. It was guarded by terrifying silence, now under the weight of justice. That silence was finally starting to crack. The deeper the FBI dug into the basement of the former home of Janice Thomas, the more horrifying the reality became, far beyond their initial expectations. What they discovered was not just the previously reported bodies, but 6 skeletal remains, buried deep in reinforced concrete, a construction method typically reserved for hiding secrets, meant to stay hidden forever. Each skeleton told its own story, yet all bore marks of brutality: rope tied around arm bones, a medical bracelet engraved with the name of a now defunct Brooklyn rehab center, and a fabric scrap from an unidentifiable uniform. But what chilled investigators the most was a line etched into the brick wall: "Tell my mother I tried," carved with something sharp. The words were not just a victim's dying plea, they were an accusation, a direct question about the silence of those who might have known, but never spoke up. Among the wreckage, the FBI's digital forensics team recovered an old audio recording device buried in mortar near one of the bodies. The audio, just under 2 minutes long, played the hoarse voice of a man, intermixed with the sound of running water and rope scraping against concrete. "I didn't want to apply. I told them I didn't want to go back. Did he made me? Made me." The voice broke, ending abruptly with a sharp click, as if the recorder was forcibly shut off. The FBI's anti-trafficking task force fell silent. This wasn't just evidence, it was the echo of a forgotten soul trapped in the darkness of power and fame. The investigators began to wonder who heard these cries for help and who was paid to ignore them. The investigation's scope quickly expanded beyond the U.S. borders. The U.S. Department of Justice, in coordination with began tracing financial transactions from 2004 to 2016, suspecting a global criminal network protected by media, financial, and political forces. Millions of dollars had flowed through anonymous accounts to rehab centers, artist training programs, and charities, all leading back to comms enterprises. Disturbingly, many of these institutions had closed down or faced lawsuits shortly after disappearances were reported in Florida, Nevada, and Pennsylvania. An internal DOJ report revealed that at least 13 properties linked to Diddy were sold off for unusually low prices within 90 days. Events, as if someone was trying to erase all traces. In response to the unprecedented scale of the case, a special prosecutorial unit was formed, led by the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York, known for dismantling trafficking networks tied to NXIVM and Jeffrey Epstein. In a brief conference, a Department of Justice spokesperson declared, "We are treating this as a fully funded criminal enterprise, protected by powerful interests in media, finance, and politics." The statement hit the entertainment industry like a bombshell. Diddy's legal team attempted to have records seized, citing the risk of prejudicing a trial, but the judge denied the motion, stressing that public interest outweighs the defendant's privacy. One by one, sealed documents were released from witness testimony to digitally restored shredded files. The social impact was seismic. A survey by the Media Justice Institute found that 68% of Americans no longer believe celebrities are innocent when facing serious accusations. 74% supported the public release of names who had signed non-disclosure agreements with entities linked to Diddy, regardless of their fame. Human rights groups and independent journalists, led by the Project Echo database, began publishing names and faces of forgotten victims, with Kiara B. and several unidentified women featured at the forefront. The project's website displayed a chilling warning: "If you've ever been close to anyone in this network, speak now before it's too late." Public's anger wasn't just directed at Diddy, but at an entire culture that had enabled silence and allowed power to bury justice. For too long, as former witnesses began stepping into the light, a new message echoed across the country. The era of secrets is over. The truth, no matter how painful, will be revealed. The story of the bodies, the haunting audio, and the message carved into a wall. It was no longer just a criminal case. It had become a wake-up call on social media. Justice for the forgotten continued to spread, accompanied by posts from people who had once stayed quiet out of fear. One ex-user wrote, "I once worked at a Diddy event. Something felt wrong, but who dared to speak up?" These posts weren't just expressions of fear. They were confessions from a generation complicit in silence. Human rights activists called for more than just hashtags, urging people to act, share informations, petitions, and demand an independent congressional investigation. The project's website, a growing archive of entertainment-related disappearances, became the flag bearer in the fight for justice. The public was urged not only to share the story, but to keep the case in the public eye and force silence into submission. The truth, as brutal as it is, was finally surfacing, but the ultimate question still loomed. Does America have the courage to confront the entire truth, or will it let it be buried once more by power and money? This story doesn't just belong to Diddy or the victims in that basement.